Hello everybody, Assassinator back with another Xbox news video. So lately there's been so much Xbox news that it's really hard to keep track of all of it, and for the most part, it's positive. So up until the FTC versus Microsoft case started, I was tired of hearing about the ABK deal, but that changed when all these court documents got released and gave us, the Xbox community, some insight on what we can expect to come to the console. So there's a lot of things that I'll give mention to and then move on, since they don't really bear much on what we'll be getting, because I'm more about the games. So we already knew that we were going to get an Indiana Jones game by Machine Games, but we didn't know if it was going to be console exclusive like Spider-Man for PlayStation, or if it was going to be multi-plat, since the game had been negotiated before Microsoft acquired Bethesda. We now know because of the legal case that it was originally going to be multi-plat, but after the acquisition, Microsoft renegotiated the deal with Disney, and now it's going to be an Xbox ecosystem exclusive. Now, like I said in my last video, I don't care what PlayStation gets as long as it's on Xbox, and the big bonus is if it's first party, then it's included in my Game Pass subscription. But in this case, Xbox won't be sharing, and for the most part it seems like the majority of future Bethesda developed games won't be multi-plat. During the case, we also got to see emails from Xbox revealing some of their strategy options. So, take for instance, Matt Booty. He wanted to spin PlayStation out of existence. I know that was an email from 2019, long before the Activision, acquisition was there, but it kind of gives you some insight on what some of the higher ups at Xbox were thinking. So yes, Microsoft has the money to money hack games to go ahead and, put PlayStation out of business, but in the end that might end up losing Microsoft money. Now, Phil Spencer has stated in the past, quote, "There's no part of our business where I get to lose money over time. The overall part of our business of gaming has to be profitable. Growing part of our business. That's why mobile is critical for growth in our business." End quote. Now, Matt Booty also stated that Google is 3 to 4 years from being able to have a studio up and running. And remember, this was back in 2019, and we all saw what happened to Stadia. Google wanted a fast turnaround on profit, and that wasn't how the gaming industry goes, so Google's gaming division was eliminated. He also stated that Sony is the only company that could compete with Game Pass, but they are about 2 years and about 10 million subscribers behind, which I believe that gap has widened even more, even though both subscription services have shown that they've grown, which is a positive thing, because that leads to competition. Now, I mention these because all these emails show me is that Matt Booty knows what he's talking about, and he's willing to be aggressive, which is what we need from Xbox to compete. Now, we did also get confirmation that the shortage of Xbox Series X's were due because the boards were going into servers for xCloud. So basically, Microsoft sacrificed Xbox Series sales for cloud gaming growth, which is a part of their long-term ambitions. Now, I had heard the rumor that that was actually what was happening a while back, but as far as the shortage goes, to me, it was only for about the first week, because after that, I was always able to get an Xbox Series when I needed one. When I had friends who asked me to get them one, I would find it within about a week. They weren't in store where I can go just pick one up or even order one online, but if I actually had someone who wanted me to get them one, within 1 week, I was able to find one at one of the retailers. It was also revealed during the court case that Microsoft had a list of game companies that they were watching for a possible acquisition. Now, the list of companies is very large, so I'm not going to go over that. A lot of them are well-known companies, but the one that stood out was Sega, because that one seems like they were actually targeting that one, and they were actually probably came very close. I don't know if they actually end up having talks with Sega or not, but obviously we know it didn't go through yet. Doesn't mean they won't revisit it. There was an email from the head of Xbox, Phil Spencer, who shows that he was actively looking into acquiring the publisher. Now, it has been long rumored that Xbox was going to buy Sega, and it looks like those rumors might have actually been true, or at least they were at that time. Now again, it's unknown what happened, but I don't think the acquisition is off the table. I think that Xbox might end up revisiting it after they end up closing the ABK deal. And the main reason why is because Sega checks off a lot of the boxes for what Xbox is looking for. It's a Japanese publisher, it has established IPs that Japanese customers know and like, Xbox and other IP that they own are family friendly, It has a mobile presence. Yes, it's not on the same size as King, but it's still a decent size. and they have a huge catalog of IPs. Now the strategy can change, but according to the documents, it looked like Microsoft, if they did acquire Sega, they were planning to kind of keep existing titles multi-platform, which again won't hurt Xbox gamers at all. Now on Thursday, a Sega rep did state that they and Xbox have a great relationship, and basically they're not selling right now. Now them saying this could change tomorrow and they wouldn't be lying. So we'll end up seeing after this acquisition, or however it goes, whether it goes that they get ABK or they don't, what Microsoft ends up doing. I think either way they're going to revisit purchasing Sega if they can. Now one of the other leaks is that IO Interactive's Project 007 is a James Bond shooter, but they haven't really talked about what the launch platforms are going to be. But IO was another company that Microsoft was watching. In fact, Xbox has a console exclusive being developed at IO Interactive. Now the game's current title is Project Dragon. Obviously that's just a code name right now. Now this game was originally talked about, I want to say it's over a year, by Jez Corden of Windows Central. But he didn't give really very much information on it, nor did the document that leaked. The only thing that we know is an RPG shooter. I'm gonna think, probably has dragons in it. Now another game that was revealed because of court documents is that DayZ 2 is in development at Behemoth Interactive. Now there wasn't any news on what platform it's coming to, but I'm 99.9% sure it's going to be coming to the Xbox, just like I feel the 007 game. Now during the court case, Jim Ryan came out and said, I don't know if it was publishers or developers, one of them, both of them, they don't like Game Pass, that it's not a good thing. Well, Bohemia Interactive actually came out saying that they support Game Pass, so it's not all like Jimbo says. Now I can go ahead and go on about why Game Pass is good, how it actually works, how it makes the money, all those different things, kind of breaking it down by reading between the lines, but you know what, that would be for a different video. We're not on that right now. So the court case isn't the only thing that's leaking us info on games that are going to be coming out. We also had on Tuesday info come out from an ex-Activision Blizzard employee who stated that there are 4 unannounced games in the works since 2021, and that's outside of Call of Duty. I mean, I know at any time one or more could be canceled, but nonetheless, it's kind of exciting news right there. And especially if the acquisition goes through, those potential 4 games might be exclusive to the Xbox. Now that's if Sony doesn't already have something in place making it exclusive to Sony, which I highly doubt it because I'm pretty sure ABK would have to disclose that with Microsoft, and Microsoft probably would have brought that up in the court case, saying that some of the games that are being produced at ABK are exclusive to the PlayStation. Now getting back to the court documents, because of a poorly redacted court document, it came out that the current Call of Duty marketing deal set up with Sony will end in 2024. But that won't include whatever Call of Duty game comes out in 2024, if one is even released. Which I believe that means that Call of Duty 2023, which has been leaked to be Modern Warfare 3, will be the last game that is marketed by Sony. So it kind of seems that Sony has a 1-year marketing deal for the Call of Duty, every current Call of Duty game, which probably also means that Call of Duty 2023 cannot go into Game Pass day one. I'm pretty sure it also means that Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 cannot go into Game Pass for 1 year from the time that it was released, and it was released on October 28th, which means the soonest we'll probably see it in Game Pass, no matter when the deal closes, is October 28th, 2023 or beyond. And again, that's just me trying to piece things together. There's nothing concrete saying that that is true. We did also get some insight on Xbox financials. So there was an image of Xbox's Game Pass strategy, which shows Xbox does plan to eliminate Xbox Live Gold at some point. And also with Step 3, we might end up seeing a cheaper tier subscription, but it includes ads. Now, I don't know how they'll add ads. Like, I've tried to rack my brain a little bit on how would I add ads to there. You know, it's not like movies or anything like that where you can kind of have like that commercial break in between. I mean, at least I hope that they don't add it like that, but I'm pretty sure Xbox has worked it out and they know internally how they would end up adding ads to it. Now, Xbox is hoping to double their revenue by 2030 to between 32 and 34 billion annually. Now, with everything coming up, especially if Microsoft does close this deal with ABK. I feel that they're setting themselves up to actually hitting, if not exceeding, that number. Now, during the case, we learned about how much it took for Sony to build certain games. Well, we also found out how much money Microsoft ended up paying for Ninja Theory. And so it was $117 million. Now let's compare that to a few other purchases. So ZeniMax Bethesda was $8.1 billion. Bungie was $3.6 billion. Respawn Entertainment, when they got purchased by EA, that was $455 million. Sony purchasing Insomniac Games was $229 million. So $117 million seems like a fair price, especially because most of what Xbox purchased was the talented studio. I mean, that's the main reason to ever purchase a studio. But at the same time, we do get one of the beloved games, which was multi-platform, and it seemed like everyone across all platforms actually likes Hellblade. So we'll see next year how the sequel does, because we all know that they did also have a flop of a game, which was their hero shooter, Bleeding Edge. It wasn't really that well received, but overall I think that was kind of like them just going a little outside their comfort zone and bringing Hellblade 2 out. I believe that's kind of what they, that's their meat right there. So a different internal doc shows that Microsoft expected Xbox to make $17 billion in revenue for fiscal year 2022, but it came up short at $16.22 billion. Also, the target of 31 million Game Pass subscribers was not hit. Now, to me, it's not bad when you consider that the Xbox Series X were hard to find and purchase for most people who wanted one, and we didn't really get any first-party exclusives that year, so that obviously wouldn't really drive sales. And I believe that number was set before Xbox even knew that Starfield was going to be delayed another year. So I'm sure fiscal year 2023 will be a whole lot better. Now, outside the court case, we did get some info on Perfect Dark's development. IGN put out an article this week giving us a sense of what has taken place as far as the development of Perfect Dark. IGN had 13 sources familiar with the game development, so here's a quick breakdown of what was mentioned. The game has hit a lot of major speed bumps during its development, which I believe all of us kind of know about. An unclear direction on the game led to many of the original developers that worked on the game to leave. I mean, even Certain Affinity was an original developing partner at one point. Now, Certain Affinity is the company rumored to be working on a Halo Battle Royale. I think it's like an expansion, kind of an add-on, but its own standalone add-on to Halo Infinite. And they've also worked as a support studio on past Xbox games. So I do see them bringing Certain Affinity in on this, but obviously it looks like Certain Affinity's out on this project. Now, multiple of the sources who work currently on the game said that the status of it is currently in early development and it's projected to release in 2 to 3 years. And that Crystal Dynamics is doing the bulk of the development, which again, something that anyone who's kind of, I guess, knows what's kind of going on, you don't have to have any inside, but you kind of know that Crystal Dynamics was going to be doing the bulk of the work. Now, I look forward to when this game releases, but just like with Metroid Prime 4, there are so many other great games coming out that I want to play that when this game is done, it's done. I mean, Xbox has so many games in the pipeline alone that we should be eating good for a while. Now, the main things that I don't want to see is if this game were to get canceled, which I don't think is going to happen, or releases in bad shape like another Redfall. Again, I doubt that based off of what Matt Booty has said in interviews. And he has said it, quote, "I've played builds, I looked at it, I'm very excited for people to see what we're doing." Now, Matt Booty also stated in an interview that a lot of the departures were, quote, amicable, and come down to the differences in approach to work. Now, we were never promised a release date, so we just need them to take their time and get it done right. So now it's the weekend, the FTC versus Microsoft case is closed, and now we just gotta wait for the answer. We gotta wait for the judge to come back and say which way it's going to go. So one of the craziest things that I've seen this week, which actually, even when I was on vacation last week, I end up seeing a lot of this also, but what I'm talking about is that PlayStation fans are invested in the FTC versus Microsoft case as much as Xbox fans. But the crazy thing is that a lot of the PlayStation hardcore, I mean, they got to be really hardcore and delusional to end up thinking that the judge is 100% for sure going to end up blocking this merger. I mean, I own every system, so it doesn't matter what console the games come to. I just prefer to play on my Xbox. But me sitting back looking at this, the FTC has not shown that there's going to be any immediate and irreparable, I guess, consequences if Microsoft ends up purchasing ABK. And for those of you who don't know, just because Xbox, I guess, is approved to go ahead and purchase right now, or at least not held back from purchasing because of the FTC, there's still, I believe in August, the FTC has its actual court case against Xbox or against Microsoft to stop this merger. I think that FTC is just trying to stall, and that's all this was from the very beginning. It is just a stall tactic, hoping that ABK backs out of the deal, because for whatever reason, everyone's saying it's political, FTC does not want Xbox or Microsoft to compete with Sony. Now, the only thing that I know is that the court case is over with as far as each side telling what they have to say. It's now up to the judge. The judge is probably going to end up making the decision, I would say, after the holiday, after the 4th of July holiday coming up. And one of the console's fan base is going to be celebrating a victory, and the other is going to be very sour. But only time will tell. So that's going to be it for my video this week. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Again, if you liked it and you made it all the way till now, make sure to hit that like button. And if you want to see more content from me, make sure to hit that subscribe button. But until next time, Assassinator's out.